Luther is a show that came out in 2010, and the first season had a series of 6 episodes within it. And I have to say, I wish, and this is the first time I'm ever going to say it, I wish this season was longer. Yeah, most of the time I believe that a lot of shows should have been a little shorter. This one was only 6 episodes, and I was craving more. So Luther stars Idris Elba as the titular character, and John Luther is actually, by the time that we meet him in the first episode, he's just recovering from a nervous breakdown pursuing this homicidal killer, and he's actually in pursuit as soon as we see him. So this entire episode just starts off with a bang! He's reinstated as DCI, and he's back in the game. From his perspective, he's finally getting himself back together after losing it, but he is not without some obstacles. One, he's trying to get his marriage back together with Zoe Luther, his wife that he's trying to, rekindle things with, and it doesn't go so well. Zoe is going to be a very big character, especially in this season for Luther, because it is something that Luther wants. It's a part of him that he had lost, and now he's trying to get back. However, one thing that has actually been the biggest obstacle is his own job, and how he handles said job. However, he is a loose cannon, and they make that abundantly clear, especially when he can't keep his personal life and the job separate. It's a little chaotic. Of course, as soon as things kind of get out of hand, you always get that one more element of people or things happening. You're just like, does it really need to happen right now? Luther's onto something. Could you please just get out of the way? And so that actually brings me down to the breakdown of what each episode is about. Because it's such a short season, I can talk about it in a little bit more depth. Instantaneously after he gets back into the game, Alice Morgan, who is the daughter of a horrendous crime scene, sees her parents dead at their own house. She's devastated. She calls up the police and says, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. And with no real way to determine who did it to these parents of hers, she's brought into questioning and wondering, like, okay, so did these parents have any grudges? Did they have anything going on? Were they good people? What was it? And it's amazing and fascinating to see that character development and growth just within one single scene between Alice and Luther. They just have an idea of one another. As soon as the conversation starts, it starts off as any typical victim to murder case. And then, once Luther starts to piece it together and believes that she did it, the tables turn, and so does she. Each episode actually is an individual case, but the progressing storyline between Luther and his ex-wife Zoe, while Luther's still pursuing Zoe, you have Luther coming to Alice about several different things, especially Alice's obsession suddenly with Luther. She just starts latching onto him, putting herself into his life, which drives him nuts. So that leads the second episode is about some cop killer who's actually out on a rampage for some sort of revenge, which that was a very compelling story. And so that leads into the third episode, which is about this serial killer who's actually a notorious occult writer who was victimized in his own killings and stuff like that, which is kind of complicated into itself, but he takes women, drains them of their blood, and then uses them around the crime scene. Very grotesque episode, but also very complicated. So this was one of those episodes that just, you have to really pay attention to. Episode 4 is led into in the same way where a serial killer is targeting other women, and this is the one that actually kind of dives into the killer's personal life. And as it does so, Luther starts getting kind of quick and hot on the tail, but at the same time, he's dealing with complaint issues from his personal life, Zoe's boyfriend, and then Alice making more trouble for that. So this is the one where everything really kind of comes to a head on what Luther does that's misunderstood and mistaken for, and while he's also having his hands tied behind his back just to get something done. The key thing to this one is how much they sell the personal side to this killer. Once his wife finds out, whew, oh my god. It's heartbreaking. Like, the most genuine performance I probably ever will see. It's a heart-wrenching episode. And then we come to episodes 5 and 6, and it's actually a two-parter. We're dealing with the same case, but it starts off typical. Then it gets more personal, and this is actually more personal in the respects of something personal to Luther as well as who he works for, and this whole thing starts getting beyond insane. But the things that happen just get more and more complicated. They get more and more involved, and Luther has to think faster on his feet. He's trying to understand what this guy's motive is that's personal to him. And for that, as a full season as it is, there's not a single real dud in this season. Luckily, it's only 6 episodes. I'm going to graciously give Luther an A+. And for that, it makes me look forward to actually reviewing the next set of episodes. And to be honest with you, the rest of the series actually gets shorter. Actually, 2 and 3 are only 4 episodes each. Have you guys seen Luther? Did you enjoy it? Did you agree with me? It doesn't matter if you did or did not. Tell me your praises, tell me your woes, all down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get you more reviews, especially this year as time goes on. Until next time.